Hey everybody, this is the Resto guide, and I'm going to be doing a series of healing guides for Resto, Druid, and Legion. And I thought I'd start with just kind of a gear overview, what kind of stats you want to prioritize when you're doing mythics or raids, and even just questing. So let's take a look at my talents. So I've gone into Prosperity, which allows you to cast Swiftmen twice and also cast them at a reduced cooldown, so you can get your Swiftmen off more frequently, and that's kind of your big tank saver. Or if a DPS is standing in something they shouldn't, it keeps people alive, especially when you have boss mechanics like Helia and Maw of Souls. If someone gets caught in her breath, having that extra Swiftmen is definitely beneficial. The other ones in this talent tree, in my opinion, are not super beneficial. As far as like your kit's concerned, you definitely want that extra Swiftmen. So this one's kind of debatable. I take Renewal so that I can have an instant cast heal on myself in case I get caught getting hit with something that maybe I shouldn't have. I can just get that free heal off on myself once per fight, and situationally it's just been a huge benefit to just overall. If I don't have to focus on myself healing myself, then I can focus my global cooldowns on the rest of the group or the raid. So as far as PvE is concerned, Balance Affinity is pretty much where you want to go. It gives you an extra 5 range to all, or extra 5 yard range to all of your abilities. Feral Affinity is nice if you're questing. Some people like that, but I can pull currently about 100k to 150k DPS with just balance in Resto form, so it's just been all around really good for popping out and DPSing in a fight that's slow on damage. And then if you're going to PvP, Guardian Affinity is kind of the way to go. As far as this tier is concerned, this is more of a kind of a defense mechanism. You can do Mighty Bash. I like Mass Entanglement. Let's just say that there's a fight with ads. I can click Mass Entanglement and get out of there. Also, if you're a Night Elf, you can go ahead and pop Shadow Meld. It's kind of like Fade in that regards. But Mass Entanglement gives me a chance to basically root up to 3 or 4 targets if they're at me and run to the tank, so that by the time they get out of their roots, the tank will have picked up aggro. Typhoon is situational. This talent tier, I've picked Soul of the Forest. When you cast Swiftmen, you gain Soul of the Forest, increasing healing of your next growth or rejuvenation by 200%, or increasing the healing of your next wild growth by 75%. So this is actually really big. So when you hit Swiftmen, your next regrowth is going to be huge. So a lot of people this expansion have kind of been complaining that Druids don't have a lot of burst heals, and you can, these will crit at 800k. Your regrowth can crit up to 800k at about 845 eye level after a Swiftmen, which is just a significant amount of any tank's health. Incarnation Tree of Life, I haven't really seen too many people running this, but it's definitely situational per fight. And then Cultivation, when Rejuvenation heals a target below 60% health, it applies Cultivation to the target, healing them 43,408 over 6 seconds. So this one, again, is situational. If it's a fight where the tank or no one's really taking a lot of damage at one time, then this one may end up being more beneficial because it increases the heal over time. So if the DPS is actually taking more damage during a fight, Cultivation might be your better bet. This tier, I picked Germination, which allows me to cast Rejuvenation twice, which just gives you another hot. Inner Peace, if this is going to be situational for raid fights where you're going to be needing to cast a lot of big healing cooldowns. There's going to be some fights in Legion where you're going to need to spec that for certain fights, especially with that your golden artifact ability that allows you to cast Tranquility while running. And then this one, each target healed by Efflorescence is healed for an additional 18,030 for 6 seconds. This one's situational. If you have a lot of melee in your party, then that might be the best choice for that particular fight. This tier, I picked Stone Bark, which reduces the cooldown of Iron Bark by 30% or 30 seconds, increases the healing from your heal over time effects by 20. This one, if you're doing dungeons, is kind of the way to go. Your Iron Bark is going to be like a really great tank cooldown, especially since some demon hunters tend to chunk a lot. So if you can have that additional external defensive cooldown for your tank available, and then also just the heal over time benefit is actually pretty big. Moment of Clarity is good if you're running out of mana a lot and you use Regrowth as a part of your heal style a lot. I really only cast Regrowth when I have Omen of Clarity up and after I've cast Swiftmend, so it's not really like a big part of my heal style. I don't pick that. And then Flourish extends the duration of all your heal over time effects on friendly targets within 60 yards for 6 seconds. This is probably going to be what I'll pick when I raid, because I'm not going to be tank healing, and this will be really good for longer fights. It'll be a huge mana preservation tool. And then obviously your Wild Growth benefits when you have Rejuvenation up, and also Gahanir Mother Tree is going to benefit the raid when you have heal over times up, so if you don't have to reapply all your Rejuvenation stacks, like this is going to be what I pick for raid, but this is what I've got for my 5-man build. Alright, let's take a look at Artifact Weapon. I kind of picked an interesting way, since raids aren't coming out well, they come out this week, but since I was mainly doing mythics, I went ahead and took this path. I went here, and then I went this way and went down here. And obviously I kind of messed that up before I really realized that artifact power, it gets expensive very quick. So this was the fastest. This is kind of the highest throughput in my opinion. It really boosts your Wild Growth potential. And Wild Growth is a huge part of my cooldown and probably where I spend most of my mana during a fight. So that's kind of the rundown. Let's look at gear. You really want to go Haste, Crit, Mastery, or Haste, Mastery, Crit for if you're healing through Mythics. You kind of want to stack Mastery more than Crit. I personally have found that I like Haste Crit better than Haste Mastery, and that's also going to be the stat priority you pick for raiding. Obviously you can see that my priority isn't exactly perfect, but every single one of my pieces of gear has Haste on it, except for I think my gloves. Yeah, it's Crit Mastery. So it just so happens that all the pieces I've got have Crit over Haste. Most of them, at least. And obviously Gahanir provides a significant amount of Crit and Mastery. As far as like which relics to pick, you just kind of want to go highest eye level that you possibly can until you get into raid, and then you can start trying to figure out what you want to benefit from the most. Once you have your full artifact tree filled out, that's kind of when you want to start being picky about your relics. But up until that point, just a simple eye level boost on Gahanir Mother Tree is actually going to be what you're looking for. Trinkets, this is best in slot if you can get a hang of this one. It's just like a free, it's a free heal. Your healing spells have a chance to launch a pulse at your target, healing them for 30,000 and bouncing up to 3 additional targets. As a healer, or as a Resto Druid, applying all these hots, this procs all the time. And then I just have a Haste Trinket. I have better eye level trinkets, but this one just does the right priority for me, so I needed a little bit more haste, and so I went with this one. Alright, so the next video I'm going to post is going to be actually healing through probably a Heroic dungeon, just because Mythics haven't reset for me this week yet. And then I'll probably do a Mythic dungeon after that, just so you can see kind of some higher damage output and some higher healing throughput. Alright, hope that this was helpful. And the next video we're going to go over spell rotation, you're going to go over situational awareness, and just different healing strategies. Alright guys, this has been the Resto Guide. Have a great week.